It's time and date set for Ms. King's sentencing. She is present in the courtroom, represented by Attorney Elizabeth E. Weisenbach. People are represented by Prosecuting Attorney Timothy J. Rakowski. On February 2nd of this year, the defendant entered a no contest plea to domestic violence third offense. Ms. Karen Edwards prepared a pre-sentence report dated March 25, 2026. Court has also received letters that have been provided on behalf of Ms. King, including letters from Raymond King, Ashley Collins, Nicholas Holzwart, Holzwart, Jenna Genna Rachi, Rathje, Brooke Arns, and Ashley Adams. Ms. Weisenbach, have you declined the opportunity to review the pre-sentence report?
Yeah.
Are there any additions, deletions, corrections, or objections to the report other than guidelines?
No, thank you.
Any objections to the guidelines?
No.
Ms. King, do you agree with all that?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Rakowski, any objections to the report as well as guidelines?
No to either question.
Thank you. Ms. Weisenbach, anything you'd like to say on behalf of your client before the court imposes sentence?
It hasn't been that long since Your Honor has had Ms. King before you. I understand that, so there isn't much to add except that there's been a development at home. When Ms. King went to jail, it was a bit of a shock. We had looked at a recommendation of 30 days, and Your Honor gave her 6 months. She was prepared to leave her children for 30 days with her husband's care. There was also school for one of her children. She needed work release. The court granted that. Appreciate that. She has been on work release. But here's the rub. Sometimes people don't always know what a mom does until there's no mom to do it. And Mr. King, to his credit, has fully gathered everything that he did not necessarily know about that his wife was doing for their 3 children. 2 of them are nonverbal autistic, and it was a heavy lifting that he's been doing. But unfortunately, despite his best efforts to care for the children, get them to school, he sought out a neighbor for help. He's done what he's needed to do, but the children still miss their mother, and doesn't matter what you tell them, they don't understand why she's not home. And children's minds, when they don't understand, creates anxiety, and they race and they come up with things that are not true, and they get themselves all worked up, especially little ones who already struggle to understand our world, which is 2 of Ms. King's children. That's why it was important last time we asked the court to adjourn, to give her people an opportunity to write letters to explain this woman is the mom, she's the glue, she holds this whole ship together. And when she's not there, things fall apart. No one cares if the dishes get done or if the laundry gets done. Everyone cares about what's been happening to these children. She's not here to ask for anything for herself. She's been going to jail, she's been doing work release, and honestly, she hasn't had to do dishes or laundry. So it's fine for that part. And I'm being sarcastic because it's not fine. But here's the rub. It's because of these children that we are asking you to consider. Her outdate for that prior sentence is June 29th. The recommendation here would add almost another year or so to this time that she has to serve. Would ask this court to allow her on an outdate that is consistent with the June 29th, so she can go home to these children. It has been hard on them. I ask you to take special consideration of the letter that her husband wrote. He understands a lot more of what's going on now that she's not there to hold it all together and carry everything. Little details mean a lot, and that's what moms do. They handle all those little details and fill in all the gaps and makes life easier for everybody, and they don't even realize why life was easy. Ray King gets it now. He's here today because he's invested, understands, and he's asking as well for you to consider, for the sake of their children, an outdate that is consistent with June 29th. She has something to say also.
All right. Ms., what would you like to say?
First of all, I admit I am not perfect, but I am a great mother. And most people with divorce look complicated marriages, but just like my husband, he's also not perfect. We both love our kids. Until jail, I've never had more than 13 hours away from my son. And 36 from my daughter. I'm not only because my son's birthday.
It's a court law.
That's fine. Go ahead.
Okay. I'll start over. First of all, I will admit I'm not perfect, but I am a great mother. Most people divorce over complicated marriages, but just like me, my husband is also not perfect. We both love our kids. Until jail, I've never been more than 13 hours away from my son and 36 hours away from my daughters. This was only due to the birth of my son during COVID. My oldest is 9 and has autism. Like a lot of other folks, I thought maybe it was the shots. Second child was normal. Then the third child was born and is nonverbal autistic. Until this third child, it was hard to even think about this process. This may also be a problem in our marriage. I know he loves me and our children, but this social emotional factor makes things a lot more complicated. My husband also has mental health issues. You have to stick to a schedule with children, even more so those who are on the spectrum. I make about $400 a week. I'm paying $160 for work release. It's almost half my income. Since I'm in jail, I also have to pay for all my medical out of pocket. I'm the only one working and still have to have paid for gas, car insurance, etc. But the worst part is for the children. They are the ones suffering emotionally with me not being around. My nonverbal son started becoming difficult at school. Daughters are not wanting to do their schoolwork, and all I'm asking is for some understanding. I'm asking for house arrest or to be released on June 29th.
Well, Mr. Rakowski, anything on behalf of the people? This is the victim's advocate.
Your Honor, Ms. Weisbach said Mr. King is here. I don't know if he wishes to address the court or not.
You wish to speak, sir? If you do, please step forward. That's fine, sir. That's fine. Could you please say your name?
My name is Raymond King.
Mr. King, what would you like to tell the court?
But as you know, said, I do suffer from mental health issues. I can't see court until I can get her home. We don't have anybody to watch her kids. And she is a great mother. She is a great person. Didn't realize at the time of my actions, the consequences that they would bring.
What do you mean your actions?
Just being not a good person, I guess, and not paying attention to life as much as I should have done.
Go ahead, sir.
Kids really miss them, miss her. And as of right now, my daughter she's at a 20% in her math and 30% in her English and stuff, and trying to get her back. We got her up in like 50%. And it's hard for her because she don't understand, especially my autistic child. My boy is 6 years old now, and he's lashing out at everything. And I know it's because he misses his mom. Like, you know, Sarah, we would just ask for like a house arrest or something so she could be home with her children, and then I could go off and work and seek help for myself.
Anything else? All right, thank you. Mr. Rakowski,
Your Honor, the pre-sentence report is accurate. Gives you an idea of the entire picture of Rita and her family. I would point out a few things. One is that the case that Ms. King was on was a delay of sentence prior to this. This actually violated her delay, but that was an assaultive circumstance involving, police officers going out there and just doing their job. And we have this circumstance. And I would suggest to the court that, as it relates to the jail time, court can fashion whatever it deems to be appropriate. But the fact is that there is research out there that, children that are in abusive homes, or at least homes involving domestic violence, tend to then have the children, either the boys become perpetrators, and the girls would latch onto somebody who does commit that type of crime. So, I mean, it's important that whatever sentence you fashion today, Judge, that you do so that with the idea of trying to prevent Ms. King from doing this stuff again. She understands, because this isn't like it's the first time. This is domestic violence number 3. So whatever you want to do that way, Your Honor, we would encourage you to do to fashion a fair and just sentence in this case, with the rest of the recommendations from the Department of Corrections being adopted.
thank you. Ms. King's assaultive behavior begins March 7, 2014. Attempted domestic violence, which was eventually dismissed under the Spouse Abuse Act. That was number one. 2019, domestic violence. But that was dismissed with prejudice. 2021, domestic violence, second offense, reduced to domestic violence first. 20 days in jail. This is in 2021. 2025, where the defendant was on delay of sentence for resisting obstructing a police officer, assaultive behavior. Was granted delay of sentence. Sadly, February 2nd, 2026, unsuccessful delay of sentence, scheduled to 6 months with 2 days credit. And while on delay of sentence, on December 20, 2025, is this case. And it's a domestic violence third offense. Defendant was clearly on delay at the time. The report indicates the use of an alcohol bottle against the victim. Defendant was intoxicated. Defendant took the children. Police were eventually called and charges were brought against the defendant. So it begs the question of the court, if you're so concerned about the children now, why weren't you thinking of the children in December? And I don't need an answer. In December, the children have the same medical conditions, mental health concerns. You decide to get intoxicated and use an alcohol bottle on someone with mental health issues. That's the question. And now the defendant comes before the court saying, well, it's my kids and my kids. I'm going to tell you right now, I feel terrible for these children. Terrible, because they're not given an example. What they're given is essentially the tools, sadly, that they will garner and use throughout their early lives to potentially act out or be the victims of domestic assault. Mr. Rakowski is right. The research is very clear regarding families that have these types of issues. And I appreciate the fact that you're concerned about your children, but you sure as heck were not concerned of them on December 20th. And I don't know what your spouse did, but if he has mental health concerns and mental health issues, why in the world would someone be intoxicated and use an alcohol bottle on someone? It doesn't make any sense to this court. Your guideline range is a minimum 5 months to a maximum of 23 months. This is a straddle cell. The court could send you to prison for this. And I appreciate the fact that you're working. I appreciate the letters that have been provided, but it just begs the question why someone would do this and then all of a sudden claim, well, the children. You should have thought of that before you decided to consume alcohol, before you decided to lash out at the victim for whatever he did. And he may have frankly deserved something, but not to the extent of a domestic assault. It could have been, you know what, you're not following through, you're not doing this, I'm taking the kids, I'm going somewhere else, and I'm going to take care of them. It could have been that, but it wasn't that, it was much more than that. And there's a history of this. 2 prior domestic convictions. On top of that, resisting obstructing a police officer. The officer was trying to do his or her job. I understand Ms. Weisenbach's arguments relative to being around the children and providing for the children, but it goes back to my point again. You should have thought of that back on December 20th. It will be the sentence of this court that the defendant be placed on a term of probation for a period of 24 months. Conditions of probation include the standard conditions: not to violate any criminal law of the government, not to leave the state of Michigan without prior approval of the court, notifying the probation agent at least monthly or such times and places the agent may require, No use or possession of alcohol or other intoxicants cannot enter bars or other places where they serve alcohol for consumption on the premises. You are to comply with all the rules relative to alcohol and drug testing. You are not to use or possess any controlled substance or drug paraphernalia unless prescribed for you by a licensed physician. You are not to be around anyone that possesses those items. You are to complete any outpatient or residential substance abuse treatment when referred by the agent. You are to complete a substance abuse assessment when referred by the agent. You are to complete any mental health, domestic violence, battery intervention, or other recommended treatment following assessment by a qualified community-based service provider. Complete the Thinking Matters program or other cognitive behavioral program with confidentiality. Regarding any treatment program, you're required to attend and disclose that information to the agent. You are to comply with the DOC's electronic monitoring program. No assaultive, abusive, threatening, or intimidating behavior. No verbal, written, electronic, or physical contact with anyone housed within an MDOC facility, nor the same type of interaction with anyone that's engaging in the behavior that constitutes a violation of any criminal law of any unit of government. You are not to use any object as a weapon, nor you own or have under your control or area control a weapon of any type. You cannot even possess an imitation weapon. Can't be around anyone that possesses those items. You are to contact the supervising field agent no later than the first business day following your placement on probation or release from jail. You must comply with all written and verbal orders of the agent. You are to allow the agent to your residence at any time of probation supervision, or you're subject to a search of your person and property, including but not limited to your home, vehicle, or computer, without the need of a warrant if the agent has reasonable cause you have items that violate the terms of your probation. You are to report any arrest, police contact, loss of employment, or change of residence to the agent within 24 hours. You are employed, you are to continue to make a genuine effort to continue that legitimate employment at a minimum of 30 hours per week. Crime victims assessment of $130 is ordered. Probation supervision fee $30 per month regular, $60 electronic. Court cost of $200 payable at the rate of $10 a month. A fine of $200 payable at the rate of $10 a month. Attorney fees are waived. $68 in state costs will be ordered. Probation is empowered and authorized under statute to effect your apprehension, detention, and confinement of up to 72 hours on reasonable cause that you have violated the conditions of your probation order. If referred, you must successfully complete any PA 511 programming based upon eligibility. And is she entitled to any credit other than the 1 day? No. Okay. Will be the sentence of this court that the defendant served 330 days, 320 days, correction, in the county jail, credit for 1 day served. Just a moment. The first 150 days must be served up front. Guideline range is 5 months. I'm giving her the low end of the guidelines to serve. The remaining time will be held in abeyance, depending upon successful completion of probation. But understand, if you come before the court on a probation violation, especially in domestic violence, and it's found that you violated the terms according to all due process, don't worry about county jail time. It'll be prison. We're serious now. No more. You understand? It's my duty to inform you of the right to seek leave to appeal. If you're financially unable to provide counsel of your own choice, court will assign counsel for your public expense. Please initial the receipt questionnaire form requesting the assignment of counsel, both of which must be executed under oath and filed with the court within 42 days. I got 1 day.